It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. By now you may have realized we have planned out changes to the rules of the game in theme with each arc of Yu-Gi-Oh! The changes we have planned for the 5Ds arc are the most sweeping changes yet. The first duel of the 5Ds arc, and every other duel after that, until the end of the arc, will be a turbo duel. While motorcycles are not in any way involved, almost every other aspect of a turbo duel will be. What is a turbo duel, you ask? In a turbo duel, both players will search their decks for a copy of Speed World 2 and activate them as a pre-game action. Both copies will remain on the field. This is an exception to the current field spell rule. These field spells cannot leave the field for any reason. Speed World 2 reads as follows. Spell cards cannot be activated except Speed Spell spell cards. Once per turn during the standby phase, place 1 speed counter on this card, maximum 12. You can remove speed counters from this card and reveal 1 speed spell card from your hand to activate these effects. 4 counters. Inflict 800 damage to your opponent. 7 counters. Draw 1 card. 10 counters. Target 1 card on the field. Destroy that target. Most speed spell cards will either require the player to have a certain number of speed counters to activate the card, or remove a certain number of speed counters as an activation cost. No speed spell cards will be forbidden or limited, including the ones banned via the Hall of Eternity. Extremely powerful forbidden cards are balanced by hefty speed counter activation costs. Most normal, quick play, and ritual spell cards will have speed spell versions available for play. For instance, Fisher becomes Speed Spell Fisher, gaining an activation requirement of having 4 or more speed counters. There is also a small pool of trap cards that can only be played in turbo duels, such as Acceleration Zone and Speed Booster. For the purposes of collection tracking, both players will have access to the same number of the speed spell cards as that player has of their respective official TCG equivalent. For instance, a player with 2 copies of Book of Moon will have access to 2 copies of Speed Spell Book of Moon during turbo duels. There is also a small list of speed spell and speed counter affecting trap cards that do not have official TCG equivalents, such as Speed Spell The End of the Storm. The list of cards you see on screen are cards both of us will have access to 3 copies of. Absolute Powerforce was released February 12th, 2010. While this set did not include any brand new archetypes, it did include some support for the Gravekeepers, X-Saber, and Reptilian archetypes. This didn't have a huge impact on the format, but it could impact our limited format quite a bit depending on what we pull. The first common I'd like to go over is Swordmaster. This is a respectable warrior tuner. This will special summon itself if a warrior type monster you control attacks your opponent's monster, and the opponent's monster is not destroyed by battle. So this is a fine level 3 tuner that we do have a lot of access to because it's a warrior. So I think this could wind up seeing play in some decks. And then we have 2 new Reptilians that could wind up making that archetype playable in our series. There's Reptilian Gardner, which is a 2k defender. Then when it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Reptilian monster from your deck to your hand. And then Reptilian Naga is one of the cards that makes the deck go. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and then the attack of any monster that battles it becomes 0 permanently at the end of the battle phase. So this is one way to get your monsters on the field with 0 attack to be able to interact with all of your Reptilian cards, because that archetype very much cares about monsters with 0 attack. There are a couple of specific tuners that we will probably look at in greater detail if we open them in the set, but there's Fire Ant Ascator and Supe, which are required to summon specific synchro monsters. Viper's Rebirth is Swing of Memories for Reptile-type monsters if you are playing mono Reptile-type. You can only revive non-tuners with it, but this can still be used for synchro plays. It can be used for all kinds of things as long as you're playing a Reptile-focused archetype. Gravekeeper Stele is very powerful. This will let you buy back 2 Gravekeeper's monsters in your graveyard and add them to your hand. It's not negated by Necro Valley, and there is a Necro Valley reprint coming up, so we may be able to play Gravekeepers yet, especially with some of the cards that are at rare. There are not a lot of good commons in this set, but there is one very important common for our meta, and that is Consecrated Light. Consecrated Light is something I am terrified of because I have been playing this Blackwing deck for quite a while, and Consecrated Light is a hard counter to the Blackwing deck. This prevents the summoning of dark monsters, the attack declarations of dark monsters. It can't be destroyed by battle with a dark monster, and you take no battle damage from the battle. So this forces you to have hard removal for it. So depending on how prevalent this becomes in Demon's side deck, I may need to start playing Fisher specifically for this card. And then at the rare slot, we have quite a few important cards. Drill Syncron gives all of your warriors piercing, and then the first time each turn you do piercing damage with a warrior, you can draw a card. This is also used for some specific synchro monsters that we will see at the higher rarities. Reptilian Vasky. This is the boss monster of the Reptilian archetype. This can only be special summoned by tributing 2 face-up monsters with 0 attack from anywhere on the field, yours or your opponent's. And then once per turn, you can just destroy a face-up monster your opponent controls. And it's 2,600. So depending on how many of these we get, Reptilian could very well be on the table. Then Gravekeeper's Descendant is very important for the Gravekeeper's archetype. This is searchable off of Sandgun, off of Witch of the Black Forest, off of Spy. It's one of their best cards. You tribute another Gravekeeper to destroy any card your opponent controls on the field. This is going to be play as many copies of this as you can get in Gravekeeper. We have a lot of the good Gravekeeper core, we just don't have Necro Valley yet, so if we can pick up a Necro Valley at some point, that would be wonderful. And then at the super rare slot, we do have some additional support for a couple of archetypes we've already gone over. We have a Gravekeeper's Priestess, which is a 1800, or is this 1800? No, that's 1200. It's a 3-star, so that's to be expected for it to be smaller. But as long as there is no field spell, the field is treated as Necro Valley. Now, I normally wouldn't talk about Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings. However, this could wind up being relevant to our pools because both of us have Crystal Beast packages, and this plays very well with the Crystal Beasts. It can only be special summoned from your hand while you have 3 or more face-up continuous spell cards, and then when it attacks and inflicts battle damage to your opponent, they have to drop a card, then you draw a card. And then you can get rid of a continuous spell once it is, during the standby phase specifically. If it's in your graveyard and it was sent there from the field, you can revive it by sending a face-up continuous spell you control to the graveyard. This is pretty powerful in Crystal Beast decks, and if we can get one of these, we may have to go to that strategy. Gravekeeper's Visionary is interesting because it's a 1 tribute if you're tributing a Gravekeeper's monster, and it gets really big. And it's difficult to destroy as well because you can just pitch a Gravekeeper to stop it from being destroyed. It is a tribute monster though, which is a little bit difficult to get out in our format, specifically because of synchro monsters. The big super rare we're going to be chasing is Fiendish Chain. Fiendish Chain is probably the single most impactful card for this set in our format. It is a super rare, so it's not guaranteed to get it, but this would be quite the card to pull. This is effect negation, and it's pretty strong. You target an effect monster on the field. As long as Fiendish Chain is face up on the field, you get to prevent that monster from attacking and negate its effects. This saw a lot of play when it was first printed. And then next we have Saber Hole, which is a summon negation if you have a face-up X-Saber monster. This card is very strong. And then out of this set came Super Nimble Mega Hamster. This is one of the cards that made Synchro Cat really strong because this lets you search out the now limited Rescue Cat from your deck. So if we get one of these, we may very well wind up trying to play Synchro Cat. We also need another Airbellum to be able to play that, but it is on the table. And then the best ultra rare in the set for us is going to be Battle Fader. Battle Fader is a hand trap that activates when your opponent's monster declares a direct attack. It special summons from your hand and then ends the battle phase. And now the synchros in this set are pretty powerful, but they almost all require specific tuners. A Majestic Red Dragon, while hilarious to pull, is just not worth it. Drill Warrior, however, is very powerful. This requires Drill Synchron specifically, or Quick Draw Synchron because we have them. And this is the synchro monster that Quick Draw Dandy Warrior of Edison format is named for. So what this does is, during your main phase 1, you can have Drill Warriors attack permanently, and then it can attack directly during this turn. And then also once per turn, you can discard a card to banish a Drill Warrior, and then during your next standby phase, you get to special summon Drill Warrior from your banish, and then add a monster from your graveyard to your hand. This is a very powerful tool that we will most likely just summon off of Quick Draw Synchron if we are able to build this. And we have most of the cards to be able to build Quick Draw Dandy Warrior. Then the only other Ultra I would like to talk about is a Double X Saber Hunley. This is a Mega Mobius. It does require X-Saber non-tuners, but when it's synchro summoned, you get to blow up 3 back row. This is very powerful, but it's going to be difficult for us to play X-Saber because of a specific card in this set that is at high rarity, meaning that we are not going to be able to play X-Saber without using a lot of crafts. And this is the reason why. Double X-Saber Emmer's Blade is in here at Secret Rare. And we are not going to have another opportunity to get this, specifically because we won't have access to the special edition promos, sadly. So this is our only chance to get Emmer's Blade. And we really need to have at least 2 of this to play X-Saber, so it's probably not happening. So this card is very powerful. It floats into an X-Saber of level 4 or lower. We also had a new OP pack at this time of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Turbo Pack 2 came to local game stores on January 9th, 2010, and this is a pack I'm pretty excited about because it gives us access to some cards we wouldn't otherwise have access to. Anti-Spell Fragrance is very strong, and this is one of our few opportunities to get this card. So what this does is it requires all spell cards to be set first, so it delays all spell cards by a turn. This card is good now, and it gets better the farther we get into Yu-Gi-Oh's history, but we will not have a lot of access to this card. And Necro Valley reprint is pretty big. This is the first common Necro Valley reprint that we've had, and it also has Gravekeeper's Commandant, but I think I have a playset of Commandant already. Reflect Bounder is neat, but it's a little bit late for it. But the big cards we'll be chasing out of here, if we do go with this pack, are going to be Necro Valley and Anti-Spell Fragrance. At the rare slot, we have Magical Stone Excavation. This is the first low rarity reprint we've had of this card. The rest of these we either already have or we're just not interested in. And the ultimate rare is Gladiator Beast Heraclinos. Now, ultimate rares, of course, are exceedingly rare to pull. I believe they're 1 in 48, but this is quite a powerful card and would be a very welcome addition to the Gladiator Beast Corp. And we had one more release, Duelist Pack Yusei 2, released January 15th, 2010. Not gonna lie, I'm probably going to avoid this pack just because I don't want a lot of the commons in this set. The only common I would really like to have is Debris Dragon. I missed Debris Dragon when it came out earlier, and this is a card that is good now, but it will get a lot better because this may wind up being playable once we get to Dragon Link. But there are still some good cards in here, some good reprints, like 1-for-1 is in here, Skill Successor, that's not bad, but the rest of these are just not great. Alright, so 24 packs of Absolute Powerforce. There's only a few cards I'm really looking for. The set is pretty low power compared to the rest, but we will still have a lot of work to do post-banning. A lot's gonna change. So let's go ahead and flip them up, see what we get out of our first pack. And that is a super rare Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings. That's actually going to gravitate us back towards the Crystal Beast deck, because that is a fantastic piece of indirect support for that deck. They get a lot of incidental support from cards that care about continuous spells. The Drill Syncron is nice too. And there's a Swordmaster. That's not a bad common at all. It's a very respectable warrior tuner, and that could be relevant in certain archetypes such as Six Samurai, depending on the number of, say, Kagemushas we get. And there is an ultra-rare Moon Dragon Quilla. This is one of Rex Goodwin's boss monsters, if I recall. So if you can get both of these in rotation, it's very difficult to do because it requires specifically Supé as its tuner, and that's a 1, so you would have a 1. Getting a 1 and a 5 on the field is probably the most difficult part of summoning these, but both of these are pretty big, and if you can get both of them out in rotation, they're very difficult to deal with because Moondragon Quilla and Sundragon Inti will special summon each other if you can get them both in rotation, so it makes them quite difficult to handle. We did also get our first copy of Gravekeeper's Descendant, which is quite important if we can pick up those Necro Valleys later on. We are still looking for some of the Reptilian cards, but we're still very early in this box. And there is another super rare, that is Gravekeeper's Priestess. That makes the field Necro Valley if there's no field spell. Chimera's just amusing. It's unbelievable how long it took this card to come to us here in the TCG, because this was in the OCG for an extremely long time. And there's a Gravekeeper Stele. That's something we want to see for Gravekeeper as well. The rest of this is not worth talking about. And there's another Gravekeeper's Priestess. Not seeing a lot of the Reptilian cards, but to make that playable, you need Vasky, preferably in multiples, but another Priestess is interesting. And there's another Drill Syncron, another Stele. We're getting a lot of the cards that we're looking for, but there are a couple that are still missing, and it's still early in the box. We're not even a third of the way through the box. Alright, there's our third Stele. We have our playset. None of these other cards are really good, but getting that playset of Stele out of the way is quite good. We just need to hit the Necro Valley from somewhere. And that is a third Drill Syncron. We're looking for some other rares, because Drill Syncron is a card we are not going to play 3 of. So about halfway through the box, I would say we're doing okay. That's our first copy of Viper's Rebirth, and we did get another copy of Naga as well. We still haven't seen any Vasky, and to be able to play the archetype, we need at least 2 Vasky. And there's a third Garden and a third Naga. I think we're full up on all the commons. We just really need a Vasky or 2 to make the Reptilian archetype work. There's another Rebirth, but we really need to see Vasky if we want to play that Reptilian deck. And there's a Gravekeeper's Descendant. That's our second one. One more of those, and we'll be set on those. We really just need Necro Valley. And we're not picking that up from this set, but this might be the case where I might actually take a break from spinning for wild cards, and I might actually go after the tournament packs. Coming up towards the end of the box, and we still haven't really seen much since then. There's not a lot of strong cards that we have to have, but there are a few that I would like to see still. There is Double X Saber Garza, which is, it's a recruiter for, well, not a recruiter, but it searches out an X Saber from deck to hand if it's destroyed by card effect. And it's bare minimum 1600, so this is a nice pickup. I just don't think we're ever going to be able to play X Saber, specifically because of how high rarity Ever's Blade is. Alright, so we're down to 3 packs. It's absolute Powerforce, what can I say? The set is not powerful at all. So let's go ahead and open our last 3 packs. That looks like a dud. So we'll see what our second to last pack is. Another Viper's Rebirth. That's our playset, so that's good to see. And we will have 1 token to reroll, because with some of the 5D sets, there are some tokens that are in the special editions that should not be in here. But I don't think that's going to be an issue, because I think we have 3 copies of every relevant common. So let's go ahead and flip up our last pack. And I don't think that was anything special. Offerings of the Immortals, some Earthbound Immortal stuff that we'll never play. So I would say that's about what we expected. We did pick up all the Gravekeeper stuff. We didn't get 3 Descendant, we only got 2, but it's very searchable, so I think that will be fine. So let's go ahead and take things over to the deck editor. Well, here is the list that we will be taking to the first Turbo Duel of the second half of the 5Ds era, and there's a lot of changes to this list. So the rationale behind this list is the DemonBattler between now and a few episodes ago crafted a full Gladiator Beast core. He has a Heraclinos, he has a Geyserus, he has at least 1 Test Tiger, perhaps more. So Turbo Duel or not, Gladiator Beast is probably his strongest deck, and I don't think any of my other decks can really compete with it. So I feel my best bet for winning this duel is going to be a Gladiator Beast deck that is teched out to beat the Mirror specifically. So I'll go through some of the changes while I take you through the card by card. We still have the Cyber Dragon and the Cyber Jar. These are very good reset tools. And then none of the Glads themselves have actually changed. We have 1 Bestiary, 2 Darius, 1 Dimakari, triple Ikest, double Hoplomys, 1 Murmillo, 1 Sam Knight, 1 Spartacus. And then for the tuners, we dropped down to 1 Krebons, unfortunately. I just could not keep both of these in here without making the deck more than 41 cards. So we have 1 Krebons and 1 Psychic Commander as emergency teleport targets, 1 Sandgen, 1 Test Tiger, 1 Volcanic Queen. So one of the big issues with the Gladiator Beast Mirror is, generally speaking, whoever resolves Heraclinos first wins. Because Gladiator Beast Heraclinos is a spell trap negate by discarding a card. It is not once per turn, and it is very difficult to be able to run your opponent out of cards. So we are actually playing Volcanic Queen specifically to out Heraclinos. It can also be used to out other annoying synchro monsters such as Stardust Dragon, but the primary case for this card will be to out Gladiator Beast Heraclinos, and the 1200 defense is searchable off Witch of the Black Forest, so we do have some kind of access to this card. I really hope that a demon doesn't see this card off of a Cyber Jar or just some other way to excavate cards, because this is a very nasty surprise. I don't think he'll be expecting Kaijus, so this will be a great way, if he dumps most of his hand, to be able to create Gladiator Beast Heraclinos. And then 1 Witch of the Black Forest, rounding out the monsters. For the spells, only 1 speed spell Angel Baton, because we're not running any speed increase cards in our deck, specifically because we're trying to maximize answer density as much as possible. I do have a second copy of this in the side deck if Demon is on something else, where we'll board out a lot of the Gladiator Beast specific cards to be able to go into a more generic spell and trap package. 1 emergency teleport, triple proving ground, double My Body as a Shield. This is the first time I've played My Body as a Shield in a while. This is specifically to be able to out Geyserus when he makes it, because if he targets a monster when he makes Geyserus, then My Body as a Shield will be able to negate that and destroy his Geyserus, which is a huge tempo loss for him. And this is also very good at answering cards like Sakuretsu Armor, which are very good in the mirror as well. And then triple speed spell Silver Contrails as a combat trick, which is very important in the Gladiator Beast matchups as well. And then for the traps, we have triple Blackhorn of Heaven in the main deck. So Blackhorn of Heaven is very good at stopping a lot of the value trains that the Gladiator Beast deck does. It stops all of their boss monsters. It also stops synchro plays, which are a great backup. So we're going to want to max out on this. If Demon is not on Gladiator Beast, then I think 3 is a little bit overkill, so we're probably going to board at least 1 out in that case. 1 Call of the Haunted, because it's a very good way to recover in this deck. 1 Dark Pride, 1 Dimensional Prison, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Ring of Destruction, double Sakuretsu Armor. We're on Dimensional Prison, Mirror Force, and Sakuretsu Armor, because I want to be able to take away as much battle-based interaction from our opponent as I can. Because Gladiator Beasts are so heavily reliant on the battle phase to be able to activate their effects, if we have as many battle traps as possible, we can discourage Demon from attacking and get the upper hand. And then 1 Solemn Judgment rounding out the main deck. For the side deck, we have double DD Crow. I did cut this down to 2. I'm a little bit worried Dark World might show up again, but I do have some side deck cards for it. I have a second Volcanic Queen, if Heraclinos and Geyserus and Synchro Monsters in general are just huge threats. A double Book of Moon, 1 Instant Fusion, double MST, 1 Defensive Tactics. I forgot about this card. I do have this in my collection. It is another Waboku that if you control a Glad, it is a Waboku that goes to the bottom of your deck instead of your graveyard where it can be drawn again. So that's another copy of Waboku, and we do have a Waboku as well. And then we have double Full Throttle if we are playing a match where games will go long, a double Shadow Imprisoning Mirror for the dark-based decks, and then a second Speed Spell Angel Baton for the slower matchups. Hopefully I get this right, because if I get this right, this should be a pretty decisive 2-0. And then the extra has a Darkfire Dragon, Dragonis the Wicked Knight, and Musician King as instant fusion targets. We have Gaio Diaz and Geyserus as targets to go into for our Glads. We don't have Heraclinos, unfortunately, and we're not going to be able to get into a position to obtain one anytime soon. And then for the Synchros, 1 Black Rose, 1 Goyo, double Iron Chain, 1 Magical Android, 1 Psychic Life Transfer, and double RDA, rounding out the extra deck. If I predict this correctly, this should be a pretty decisive win, and that would be fantastic, going up to a 6-game winning streak, which would be the largest winning streak so far in Progression Series history. It is time to rev it up!
Alright, time to rev it up once again.
Indeed, for our first Turbo Duel post-ban, we removed a lot of very strong cards from the format, and I think that's going to change things quite a bit for the next 6 duels. But this duel's
I'm nervous.
I am too. This duel's pretty important because you might recall that there is a Cyber Eltanin promo, which could actually impact our format.
It could. Alright, so let's see. Well, honestly, I just want to break this damn losing streak.
That is big for you, and that's not a great way to start it. I will take the play. Good luck, Duelist.
Good luck.
Alright, now we're off to the races. Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. I am just gonna set a pair and pass.
Alright. Draw, standby main. I think I'm going to run out my Jane Lighttorn Paladin.
Jane? Interesting.
Battle phase, let's go for 21.
21, huh? I think I'm gonna sack this.
Oh, okay.
Might be a little bit loose, but I think that's right.
Alright, main phase 2. I will set 2 cards, and I will pass.
Alright, draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Let's run out Darius.
I knew you were going to be on this shit.
Darius good?
Darius is good.
Test Tiger?
Oh, God. Yeah.
Activate the effect of Test Tiger.
Alright.
We'll put this back. I just have to hit the right one. Bestiari.
Okay.
Eat this one.
Oh, that's bad.
Flip Sandgan. Battle phase. 10.
I'll take the full 25.
Alright, end of battle phase. Effective Bestiari. I will grab myself. I think I'm going to be safe and I'm going to go get Hop.
Okay.
And then after combat, I will set a back row and end my turn.
Thinking. I think I'm gonna activate MST and pop that card now.
That's a pretty good one. You got my Mirror Force.
Ooh, thank God. Alright, draw. Standby main. I think I'm going to set a card. Oh, wait. Forgot to
That too, yeah.
And then I'm going to set a monster and pass.
Right, draw for the turn, standby phase, main phase. Remove 3. Proving Ground.
Alright.
Get the boy. Bestiari?
Yeah, no. No, no.
I didn't think that was going to happen, but I had to try. I had to try. Well, this probably isn't going through, but let's go ahead and just go to the battle phase and see what this is.
Alright. It's actually my Sandgan.
Well, we had to proc it at some point.
I'm going to add my Gale the Whirlwind to my hand.
Gale, huh? That's a pretty good card. I think I am, unfortunately, just going to have to pass the turn.
Draw. Standby, main. Yeah, I feel like I have to do this. I'm going to run out Gale, and I'm gonna use Gale's effect on Hoplimus.
To sink him, sure.
So we're gonna go ahead and send him out.
That'll eat the hop.
And I'll pass the turn.
Alright, let's go ahead and draw for the turn, proceed to the standby phase, proceed to the main phase. I'm gonna run out a Sam Knight here.
Sam Knight. Okay.
Let's proceed to the battle phase. Run straight into your sack, probably.
It's not a sack, but it's Speed Spell Silver Contrails.
That's a pretty good damage step trick.
Do you have one of your own?
Unfortunately, no. So I will take 7. Yeah, that's pretty good. Main phase 2, I'm going to throw Samgan sideways and pass.
Okay. Draw. Standby. Main. This feels a little less scary now. I'm going to run out Armageddon Knight.
Armageddon Knight's good.
Alright. Let's see. Who do I want to pitch?
So this is the part where you dump Plague Spreader Zombie and make Trishula, right? Oh wait, no, they're both tuners.
I think I'm going to... Unfortunately, I'm going to have to send my Mystic Tomato.
Interesting.
Now the question is, what do I want to do here? I have a couple of options. Oh, wait a minute. That actually... Okay, so unfortunately, I'm not able to do entirely everything I want to do to prevent everything, but I can do something kind of funny.
What you got?
I'm going to tune Gale and Armageddon Knight.
For a 7? Oh, is this Black Rose for its Trinket text effect?
I'm going to banish my Mystic Tomato.
Oh, that's cool. That is so cool. I like that a lot.
It didn't even occur to me that I could do that at first, because I was like, oh, Mystic Tomato is probably one of the best ones to dump at the moment, but that's a really good way to get a punch in.
That is neat.
Granted, this does leave me in a awkward spot because you can just pull up a Gladiator Beast now, but still.
Well, that's actually kind of hard for me to do against something with that much attack. So I think I'm actually going to grab the Jar here.
Ooh, okay.
Alright, draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Set a monster, could be anything. And then I'll set a back row to keep you guessing, and I'll pass the turn.
Alright, draw, standby, main.
I have to do this before you get to 10 speed counters, clearly.
Right. Well, I don't like it, but I feel like I feel like I have to proc it on my turn.
You do. See what we get. Oh, those are cards.
Okay, so you get a Darius and a Hoplimus.
So you have Honest, which is offline. Spell Striker, Mystic Tomato. Spell Striker, Mystic Tomato, Honest, huh? And then I have Hoplimus, Darius, and then Sidra to hand. So I have to... I'm going to set both.
Okay.
Although Kokapakapu 2 monsters is kind of scary, because that's online.
Actually, put both of these in attack, and actually... So yeah, I'll just set that, and then... That goes to hand. And you know what? To be a little safer, I'm just going to right away activate it.
You got my Blackhorn.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That wasn't going to stop Kokapakapu, though.
Right. Alright, so just so you can remember, Darius does not have enough power. Like, how much defense does Darius have?
Darius has 300 defense.
300. Okay. This is a little bit crusty, but I'm going to actually swing Spell Striker into this one.
You hit the wrong one. Take 15.
Actually, I don't. I take no battle damage from attacks involving this card.
Right. Right. Spell Striker has text.
But this means Honest can actually clear out Darius now.
Ahem. End of battle phase.
Go ahead, get your Murmillo.
That's exactly what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go grab my Murmillo, and I'm going to snipe away that Honest, because you don't need that back in your hand.
Okay. Main 2. I think I will just set... Yeah, I'll just set a monster and pass the turn.
This is starting to get scary. Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Yeah, this is just really scary. Yeah, I am just dead to Kokapakapu. Wait, Kokapakapu plus speed spell kills me. This is such a tense game. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. Thinking. This is a tough one. I'm gonna be a while. As it turns out, playing this deck is hard. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do, and I don't like it, but I think I have to do it. I'm going to normal summon Gladiator Beast Hoplimus.
Oh, goodness.
That is an attack position Hoplimus.
Okay.
I'm gonna proceed to the battle phase, and I am going to hit into the Spell Striker. So that should take it out. And then I'm going to swing with the Hoplimus into this set.
You mean the Murmillo?
Or the Murmillo, yes.
It is my Dark Resonator.
Okay, end of battle phase. I am going to activate Murmillo. Murmillo is going to get me Ikest, then Ikest will trigger and grab me my Bestiari to hand. Then I'm going to trigger Hoplimus. So Hoplimus will go back to the deck, and I will get the Murmillo, or is both your monsters face? Oh no, your Resonator's face up, so I can kill that. I've made that mistake way too many times on Master Duel. So I am going to go get Murmillo that I just sent back, and I am going to pop the Dark Resonator. I've got to keep you off of Kokapakapoo. I just have to. Alright, main phase 2. I'm going to set 2 cards face down and pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Stand by. Main. This puts me in a very awkward spot.
Well, you got me in a tough spot too, buddy. This is a close game. This can go either way.
So you have Sakuretsu. You have 1 Sakuretsu spent. As far as I'm aware, you only have 1 Mirror Force.
Well, Mirror Force is also limited.
True.
So you know there's not another one of those floating around.
What could you possibly have? Silver Contrails, maybe. For safety. Alright, so first I'm going to start by summoning Mystic Tomato.
Sure, Mystic Tomato can be flipped up.
Alright, let's go into Murmillo.
Murmillo down.
Okay, main phase 2. I'm going to set a monster and pass.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. And unless that set is something really good, you just lost the duel. Bestiari.
Alright.
We're going to tag out. For Geysers, eat both your monsters.
Okay.
Battle phase, 24.
Double silver? Double silver?
No silver contrails. Main phase 2, I'm going to remove 4 speed counters, and I'm going to show you this Proving Ground.
Oh, right. That's not once per turn.
Take 8.
Alright.
Okay, so you see where this is going. So I do have a lot of explaining to do after the match, because this is not how I expected this to play out at all.
Alright, I'm going to go first. Let's see if this actually does anything to help me.
Well, we shall see.
Alright, so draw. Standby main. I'm going to start by running out Jane Lightsworn Paladin.
That's a Jane.
Then I'm going to set 2 cards. End my turn, activate Jane, so I will mill 2 cards.
I see you have black horns now. Let's draw for the turn, go to the standby phase, go to the main phase. I am going to be a little bit boring, and I think I'm just going to set 3 and pass.
Okay.
Go!
Thinking. I think I'm going to activate my Mystical Space
Space
Typhoon.
one. Which one?
Let's hit that one.
That was not the one I needed you to hit. That was my Judgment.
Ooh, that's a big one. Okay, standby main. Okay, so... Okay, I'm going to set a monster, go into battle. Let's hit in that monster. Let's hit in your defense.
It's Hoplimus.
I don't like it, but I have to honest here.
Honest? Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll take out the hop. I think you have to do that too, though, for what it's worth.
All right. Set a card, end my turn.
Alright, draw.
Okay, I was hoping to see that.
Draw for the turn, proceed to the standby phase, proceed to the main phase. I am going to just set another monster and pass the turn.
Okay, draw. Standby, main. Let's see, how do I want to do this exactly? Nah, I'm not going to do that yet. Okay, battle phase. Let's swing in again.
Got another honest for this one, buddy?
Oh, for Christ's sakes. No, I do not. So,
all right,
end of
battle phase. I'm going to tag out for... The question is, what do I want to go into? I like a Kest here, actually. Yeah, let's get a Kest. Kest effect, get hop.
And get wrecked.
Oh, wow, you're on Mirror Revolts?
Let's just say somebody screwed around reading the wiki to find weaknesses to Glads. Until I did that yesterday, I did not know this card even existed.
This isn't playoffs, idiot. Wow, that's gross.
And I draw. And I get to draw. Alright, main phase 2. I guess I will just set another monster, set a card, go to end phase, and mill 2 more.
2 Blackhorns. Jeez. Draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. I'm going to set another monster. Could be anything.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pass the turn.
Alright, draw. Standby.
Clearly my plan is to just let this Jane mill you out.
Pretty much. Let's see. Do I have a way to... I have one way of dealing with that. The question is, what is your face down card?
Is somebody scared of 1 back row?
Then again, well, actually, wait. Unless it's the Blackhorn, I could do this. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna flip summon my Dark Resonator.
Sure, that's fine.
And then I'm going to normal summon my Arcana Force 0, the Fool.
Oh, is this a Synchro 8? Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not even gonna bother with a coin toss. So let's bring out Stardust. Do you have a counter trap?
I do not have a counter trap.
Okay. Do I want to get greedy? Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's get greedy. I'm gonna summon out Gale. Flip Gale. Stardust in.
That will get the Hoplomys.
And 13 to the face.
13 in.
Main phase 2. I'll pass.
Draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase.
The nice thing, too, is Stardust acts as a little bit of insurance because now you can't even drop 10 speed counters to pop it because I could just negate it.
Exactly.
It won't pop the field spell, but it'll at least stop the effect.
I do have an out for it, though. I am going to tribute your Stardust Dragon for Volcanic Queen.
What the hell?
Then I'm going to set a card and pass the turn.
Oh, shit.
It's a kaiju!
It is interesting. Okay, draw.
The only thing I don't like about it is that it costs me my normal summon too, but it deals with unkillable stuff like Stardust Dragon.
Right.
And I have 6,700 life points. I still have time.
True. Interesting.
And you don't have a Synchro 9, so there's no funny business. Not a Synchro 9 you can make with 2 monsters anyway, because there aren't any of those yet. Because all the Synchro 9s that are in print now require 3 materials.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this card to the top of my deck.
Oh, Plague Spreader. Yep. Okay, then you can just Synchro off. Do you have another Stardust?
I don't have another Stardust, but I have my Thought Ruler. Let's see. Oh, wait. Plague Spreader gets banished.
Plague Spreader does get banished, that is correct.
You know what? I kind of want to go... Do I want to reveal this yet, though? That's the question. It does leave you in a position of, hey, if I do this and it works, it leaves you in a position of you have to out it. But if I don't do it, then you could potentially out it anyway. You know what? Okay. Screw it. I'm gonna do this to be a little more safe. It's a bit riskier on cards, but it's worth it. Actually, no. No, I'm gonna pass. I need to think things through.
Alright, let's draw for the turn. Standby phase. Main phase.
I like how I sat there and waited, thought for like 2 minutes and didn't do anything with it.
Let's normal summon a Psychic Commander. I'm going to proceed to the battle phase, and I'm going to try to hit over this Gale.
I'm going to Saku that.
That is A-okay. I will pass the turn.
Alright. Draw. Standby. Main. I'm gonna run out Armageddon Knight.
Armageddon Knight's fine.
Let's go ahead and dump...
Oh, how many are in here? Nowhere close.
I'm gonna have to pitch my Sandkin. I don't necessarily like that.
It gets it in rotation.
No, I know you have a certain pain in the ass card right there, but I can't do anything about it. I'm going to end my turn.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. I think we're both trying to play around the same card is what's going on. I am going to... I think I have to play around this eventually. Like, I have to play into it eventually, I just don't like how I have to. I mean, if you have it, you have it. Normal summon Bestiary.
Okay.
Battle phase.
Okay.
Try to hit the Gale.
Gale succeeds.
Didn't think I'd get that far. Thinking on end of battle phase. I will activate Bestiary.
Okay.
Bestiary into Ikest, trigger Ikest. Target
I'll also mirror votes that.
I think I'm just gonna grab the other cast because this still triggers because it doesn't negate; it just destroys.
Right.
So that's pretty ugly. Main phase 2. I think I'm just gonna set a back row.
Okay.
Go.
Stand by main.
I am full up on speed counters, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm gonna set a card, and then I'm going to run out my Thunder King Ryo.
That's pretty good.
And I'll pass the turn.
Alright, let's draw for the turn, standby phase, main phase.
Alright, we're both going at max speed, so...
Yeah, if one of us could find something to do with these speed counters, just any speed spell. I am going to run out this Ikest.
Okay.
Proceed to the battle phase. I'm going to hit over the Armageddon Knight.
I'm going to...
I know you've got something back there. It's just a matter of do you want to use it. Like, there's got to be a silver contrail. Oh. There's got to be, like, a silver contrails or a sack. I will activate Ikest. Would you like to Ryo?
Yeah, I'm gonna Ryo.
That's what I thought. Main 2, I'm gonna set one. And I will pass. I feel like I'm walking on pins and needles with these cards you have. Like, holy hell, Ryo is good.
Okay, so so you have a problem here is just the fact that I don't have a way to... Alright, I guess I have to try for it. Let's hit for 27.
I am going to, on attack deck, Call of the Haunted for Ikest.
Okay.
Would you like to redeclare?
Let's see. Why would you do that? I'm going to choose not to redeclare. I'm going to end my turn.
Alright, draw for turn. Standby phase, main phase. If only one of us could draw a speed spell, huh? I'm going to just set a monster and end my turn.
Okay. Draw. Standby, main.
I get the feeling we're both trying to play around the same thing.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Because I believe there's just a trick that neither one of us can afford to lose to right now. Because if one of us comes out on the wrong exchange in that trick, then the game is just going to be over.
Right. Your face down cards really worry me, and that's the big one.
There are 3 back row. That is a lot.
That is. Okay. I'm going to pay 4 and activate Speed Spell Angel Baton.
Sure. I mean, that'll let you dig.
I will pitch my Reinforcement of the Army.
Sure.
Okay. Then I'm going to pitch 4, reveal my Mystical Space Typhoon, and deal 800.
Sure.
And then, alright, let's take a shot. I'm gonna activate Mystical Space Typhoon. Target this one.
Well, this is what you figured was there. It is the sack. I'm sure that was one of the cards you were worried about.
It was one of them. Now I'm gonna run out my Copycat card.
And that's gonna copy the stats of the Ikest.
Correct. Okay. So, battle phase. Copycat is going to... Actually, no, you know what? I'm gonna just pass.
Still don't want to risk it, huh?
There is exactly one card. Basically, I'm looking at it like there are 2 cards you have face down. You either have Mirror Force set or you have double Silver Contrail set.
Alright, draw for turn. Standby phase, main phase. I'm just gonna set another monster and end my turn.
Okay, draw.
Just which one of us is gonna flinch first? That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
I would like to draw a speed spell so that I can at least start throwing damage at you.
Oh, God, I don't like this, but okay. Alright, battle phase. Thought Ruler is gonna run into a Ikest.
I am going to activate a new card that you haven't seen yet. I'm gonna activate Defensive Tactics.
Oh, interesting.
So this is a Waboku that places itself on the bottom of the deck after it resolves.
Damn. Okay. Alright.
I have effects at the end of the battle phase, sir.
Oh, screw off.
I'm gonna
Fine.
activate a Ikest. I'm gonna grab Murmillo and eat Thought Ruler.
I'm gonna pay 1,000 life points and tell it to go fuck itself.
Spell or trap card is activated.
Oh. Well, shit.
That was one of the reasons why I was wondering why you were so worried about Sack. Yeah, Sakuretsu armor targets.
Sakuretsu armor's not my problem, though. Mirror Force is.
Right, that does not target.
Well, not only that, even if it did, it has to target that one psychic monster and no other cards. So if I had anything else that would have gotten nailed by Mirror Force, it wouldn't have worked.
Draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. Alright, I think... Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tribute my Sangan for Sidra. Trigger Sangan.
Okay.
Let's grab... do I want to commit to that? Yeah, I think I need to take care of as many of these as possible. I'm going to get Test Tiger.
Ooh.
Okay. Special Test Tiger?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright, I'm going to just use Test Tiger now. Target Murmillo.
Okay.
I'll get Bestiari and eat this one.
Well, I'm going to actually...
You're going to chain it?
Nah, it doesn't matter. Because you're just going to Geyserus and pop it anyway.
Alright, let's go to battle phase. Sidra into your 1600 copycat.
Okay, I am shocked you did that. I'm going to Silver Contrails.
That's fine, I have to play through it.
I legitimately expected you to flip this and then go straight into Geyserus.
You need 2 Glads to go into Geyserus.
That's why I expected you to flip the face down.
So I'll take 5.
Yeah.
And then I am just going to pass the turn.
Alright, draw. Standby, main. I do not like this. I'm going to set a card, and I will run out another copycat.
Sure.
And I will hit this copycat's going to target your the
Bestiari, because that's the only face-up monster I have.
And what is... Okay, so what was Ikest's defense? 300?
Ikest's defense?
Yeah.
Ikest's defense is 1200.
This way we could keep track of which one's which.
That makes sense.
Okay, and I'll end my turn.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Run out of cast.
Okay.
Take out. Mate Geyserus got a Blackhorn for me.
I do not have Blackhorn.
I'm going to target the larger copycat and your back row.
I will chain Ring of Destruction on Geyserus.
That is perfectly fine. So we'll each take 24. Very low resource game we have now. I am just going to pass the turn.
Alright, draw. Standby, main. Alright, I guess we might as well see what you got there.
It's Witch of the Black Forest. That's why I didn't go into Geyserus before, is because my face down wasn't a Glad.
I see.
If it was a Glad, I would have snap gone for that. So let's grab Darius.
Okay. Main 2, I guess I'll set a card and pass.
Had to be a back row. Had to be a back row. Draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. Darius.
Okay.
Battle. 17 in. Of course you have it. Had to try. Main phase 2, I got another back row. Go!
Okay. Standby.
Boy,
main.
both of us are kind of just playing off the top.
Battle. 15.
I think I have to deprison this.
And I'll pass.
No back row, cool. Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Let's run out Ikest.
Okay.
Battle 16. End of battle phase, I'm going to tag out. I don't want to grab those, the question. This is where Sagittari would be super nice to have, but that's not in print yet. I believe that's part of the Chaos Impact Gladiator Beast stuff. But I'm going to be intelligent about this and get a Hoploness. And I'll just pass the turn.
Draw. Standby. Main. I guess I need to start doing this, but I'll remove 4 counters. Reveal Silver Contrails.
I'll take 8.
Remove 4 more.
Yep. 8 in.
And then I will normal summon my Jane Lightsworn Paladin.
That's a Jane.
I will set a card, and I will end my turn, so I will mill 2 cards.
Deck's getting a little low there, buddy.
Oh boy, I was really not... Damn, that DD Warrior Lady would have been kind of nice.
Alright, draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. Well, you'll add 1 too. This is so rough. Why can I not get over Jane? I'm gonna set a monster and pass.
Alright, draw. Standby. Main. I will set a monster. I guess Jane will attack the defense.
It's Dimakari.
I'll end my turn.
You mill 2 cards.
Ah, damn it.
I was so worried about you drawing that because I hadn't seen it yet. That would have ended the game. Draw for turn. Standby. Main.
God, that really would have been what I needed to finish this.
I'm going to set another monster and pass the turn.
Okay. Draw. Standby. Main.
Is this going to be another game where it just comes down to you not peeling a speed spell?
I'll flip my Witch of the Black Forest.
Sure.
Overlay into Cowboy.
Not yet! I'm sure you would like to cowboy me right now.
Okay. Let's go ahead and hit your defense.
It's a Kest.
End my turn.
I'm sure you'll get to the point when you'll be able to cowboy me, but that's not yet. Draw for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. So you have one... I gotta dodge one more turn. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove all my speed counters. All 12 of them.
What the hell are you playing?
I'm going to show you this Gladiator Proving Ground 3 times to deal you 2,400 damage.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Then I'm going to set a monster, and I'm going to end my turn.
Draw. Standby. Main.
Did you get the speed spell?
I did not get the speed spell, unfortunately.
So you only got one more turn.
I need to... Let's see. What can I even... Is he... No, I took him out. God damn it. I don't think I have a way to win this. I don't think I have a way to win this. Crap.
I know this feeling as a Lightsworn player. That just sometimes when you play Lightsworns, you deck out, and all it took was just not being able to get over 2,400 defense Optimus. I was originally not going to go into this, and I was going to go into something offensive, but this,
you know what?
This Hoplimus...
Just out of pure anger. Let's kill Hoplimus.
Sure. Hoplimus down.
Witch into the defense.
It is Bestiary.
Oh, I didn't even have a damn speed spell left.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how many you were playing, but I'm going to go ahead and go to the draw phase, go to the standby phase, go to the main phase, and I will pass the turn.
And that is the game.
You made me work for both of those. So this was a rod. This was my insurance policy in case you were able to out the Hoplimus earlier, so that way we could draw the game and go to a game 4 if necessary. So it took me going through almost half of my deck before I found a single speed spell to be able to use Speed World with. So I had 12 speed counters for the longest time, and I just could not get there.
Yeah.
How long did you have that Silver Contrail set for?
I've had that probably for like 3 turns, I want to say.
Maybe setting that was your mistake.
Like, I set that immediately after doing the 2 hits with the speed spell. But that's the thing. I didn't think I was going to be to the point of needing to do that. And I figured if I don't set that down, you're going to be able to run over Jane, and then that kind of defeats like, it makes it pointless.
That was actually kind of funny, because when I saw that you were having trouble outing just large bodies, I was just going to let the Jane sit there and deck you. So you might be wondering why I was so puzzled after Game 1. The reason why I was so puzzled after Game 1, I actually thought we were going to be playing a mirror match, because you have a full Glad Core, and your Gladiator Beast deck is better than my Gladiator Beast deck. So I was thinking we were going to play a mirror match. I had my main deck teched out for the mirror. I was playing, other than Bestiary, 0 back row removal in my main deck.
Oh, wow.
I like, maxed on Sakus. I maxed on just Battle Traps. I maxed on just Battle Tricks in general, and one of those Volcanic Queen was main deck.
Right.
It was in there specifically, if you make Heraklinos, I want to have something that can kill it. And I think that Volcanic Queen that killed your Stardust Dragon was crucial in this game.
Oh, yeah.
It was really scary, because I only had one out to the Volcanic Queen set at the time, and you had I think that was when we were both on 12 speed counters, too, so if you ever just remove 10 speed counters to pop my back row, I was super dead. I think we were both kind of operating on that, where we had one key back row that was protecting us, and we both knew it, and we couldn't really do anything about it, because if we hit the wrong one, and we walk into that back row, then the other player just takes the game.
Oh yeah. So, okay. I really don't want to do I want to reveal this right now?
Keep it a secret if you don't want to.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that a secret then. Damn. Jane, man, Jane screwed me so bad with that, like, because I lost my BLS, I lost my DD Warrior Lady. I didn't even lose out on, really in terms of the speed spells for the mills. So that kind of sucks, but it's just like, man, like, if only I would have hit something, anything at this point.
This is actually one of the reasons why the Lightsworn decks have historically run a 1-2 Beckoning Light between main and side, to be able to retrieve cards if they get milled. I don't know how good it is in your deck specifically. It depends on how many important lights you have in your deck, but...
Right.
Dude, what a set this was.
Oh yeah, this was a challenging one, and I'm definitely gonna have to sit down and see if there's anywhere in here that I can cut out or thin out. If not, oh well, but oh boy.
But one thing before we go to the prize wheel that I want to ask you is, why didn't you play Glads?
Because the reason was because, one, you have a lot more back row removal, or you have a lot more removal for battles than I do, and because of that, it means that I'm pretty much expecting to never have the play, like, never have the actual priority for my plays, because my monsters aren't going to live if I attack, and then if you attack, then you get the effects off first. So, to me, it didn't seem worth it to try it.
That's an interesting way to think about it. I was also wondering if perhaps experience with the deck may be a factor as well.
Right. Now, that's why I went and did, like, I pulled in a full playset of Mirror of Oath and a full playset of Blackhorn, because, like, basically the goal was to get you off of Bestiari and find a way to keep you off of Geysers if possible, or at the very least, just make sure you didn't have a consistent set of monsters to keep cycling through over and over.
That's what you have to do to be able to beat the Gladiator Beast deck. And you might recall, I had the Blackhorns main. I actually sided them out, because the way I built my deck is I came pre-boarded for a mirror match, and then if you weren't playing Gladiator Beast, I would just side out of all of that and bring in the rest of the stuff, which was just more just generic cards, like the back row removal and whatnot. But of course I didn't see any of it. I think that both of us played this very well. It was just a matter of just not being able to utilize Speed World to be able to get that last bit of damage in. And that's one thing that's going to be very critical, just in Speed or in Turbo Duels in general, is do you want to set that last speed spell from your hand, or do you want to use it to be able to activate the effects of Speed World? Because in this case, that damage wound up being the difference in the game.
Right.
It's a tough call to make, too, because a lot of the speed spells that we're playing, like Silver Contrails and Angel Baton, are really, really good.
Alright, well, guess it's time for us to go into the prize discussion, which you've got your Cyber, what is it, Eltanin?
Cyber Eltanin, yes, I do get that.
So you get that, and I am back to 2 wheels on the pity wheel again.
You are. This is the second time we've had a 6-game winning streak, and well, we will see exactly what happens. So because I am now on a 6th win streak, DemonBattler gets to spin twice on the catch-up wheel. And he managed to spin not 1, but 2 ban tickets. So he has chosen with his 2 ban tickets to ban Gladiator Beast Bestiari and Gladiator Beast Murmillo. I'm not quite sure his reasoning on choosing both of these cards to ban, because banning Bestiari completely kills Gladiator Beast. Banning Murmillo was not necessary, but apparently he really, really wants this deck dead. And I don't blame him. I want to say if he is banning this as well as Bestiari, and he has the better Gladiator Beast core, I believe this is a sign that he is not confident in his ability to navigate the Gladiator Beast mirror. And I don't blame him for that lack of confidence, because the Gladiator Beast mirror is one of the most skill-intensive, if not the most skill-intensive mirror matches in all of Edison format. So we will be saying goodbye to the Gladiator Beasts for the rest of the Progression series. Alright, so that is our 6th consecutive win. We do unfortunately lose our Sit Gladiator Beast deck that we had, but we didn't invest too many crafts into it, so I'm okay with this outcome. We did get a really nice pickup in Cyber Eltanin. This was a magazine promo that was released about this time, and we have a couple of good machine cores that we can use this with. So this is special summon from your hand by banishing all light machines from your field and graveyard, and then it sends all other face-up monsters on the field to the graveyard when it's special summoned, and then its stats become the number of monsters banished for special summon, times 500. Now, this is a board wipe plus a finisher, and we are going to play this most likely in our Cyber Dragon focus decks, our Morphtronic deck. We have a lot of places we can put this. But that's not the only thing we get. We do get a couple more cracks at the crafting wheel, and I'm kind of hoping for the SJC prize card, because this is the last chance that we will have to get Dark End Dragon. With the Shining Darkness, the SJC tournament circuit becomes the YCS tournament circuit, and that's going to cause the card to rotate. And Dark End Dragon is a hell of a Synchro 8, especially for our Blackwing deck. So I'll take wild cards of just about any rarity. So let's go ahead and see what kind of craft we can get. If we get a low rarity craft, we can spend that on our Blackwing deck. So we'll see what we wind up with, and it's coming to a stop at the high end, and we're gonna get a UR craft. Now this is pretty nice. I have to spend a lot of time deciding what I want my UR craft to be, so I will make that decision. So this was a really, really hard decision. There were 4 different cards that I was considering. I was thinking about getting Blackwing Armor Master because we could wind up picking up a Vayu, and we don't have a Vayu target. And Blackwing Armor Master would be a Blackwing target that we could use with Vayu to be able to make that. Ultimately, because I think something is going to end up getting hit on the next ban list out of the Blackwing deck, probably Whirlwind or Kalute. I don't think that Blackwing is the right call to spend a craft on, so that left me with 3 cards I was considering. Lila, Lightsworn Sorceress, Stardust Dragon, and Plague Spreader Zombie. Lila is going to be leaving our capability to get that card, but we do have a couple of reprints of it that we have access to later on. I don't have a Lightsworn core. This would just be a good spell and trap removal on a monster, almost like Breaker. And I think Breaker is still playable. It's just not as good as it used to be. And with the back row removal gone, as far as the sweepers go, we only have spot removal, and with MST still at 1, that is going to be a little bit of an issue for dealing with back row. I think I have enough things to deal with back row. And then Stardust Dragon gets plenty of reprints. It was really hard for me to not slam Stardust Dragon immediately, but I have Red Dragon Archfiend as a Synchro 8, so I think because we don't have a ton of access to Plague Spreader Zombie other than 1 gold series that's coming up, and Plague Spreader Zombie is going to be very useful as a dump off of Painful Choice, and Stardust Dragon is honestly easy enough for most of my decks to beat over. So I think I'm going to lock in this choice of Plague Spreader Zombie and add a copy of this card to my collection. So let's go ahead and take our second spin on the wheel for winning. A low-key kind of hoping for a low rarity card. I'd like to see a rare wild card because we're coming up on Frog format and I don't have Substitute. Okay, you stop. Stop. Cool, that's exactly what I wanted. I do need to still decide on what rare I want, but it's probably going to be Substitute. So I did a little audible when I was looking through cards, and while I'd like to have another Substitute to be able to play Frog, I think ultimately the card that allows us to really abuse Substitute, Ronin Totem, is going to get extremely quickly banned. So I've decided to, since this is the last chance we have to get Light of Destruction, and this card gets absolutely no reprints at all. This is the only printing of this card. I'm going to take a second copy of Batteryman Industrial Strength. The reason why I'm taking this is because the Shining Darkness is the next set that we are going to be opening. The Shining Darkness has Batteryman Fuel Cell and Batteryman AAA. That is going to be enough pieces to be able to support the strategy. Now, we don't have cards like 9 Volt yet, and 9 Volt is obviously very powerful. but we have enough support to be able to play the Battery Man deck, and I can always just play this as an engine in another light-based machine deck. So I'm going to have a lot of work to do for our next episode. And that'll be a wrap for today's episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Join us next time when we have a sweeping ban list that is Edison format, but we won't be able to experience the actual Edison format because of another set that ruined Yu-Gi-Oh! The Shining Darkness. Until then, see you around.